Dierdre Friel has created a stunning career in entertainment, starring in such films and television shows as New Amsterdam, The Sopranos, Second Act, and Tales of the City. Playing Greta in the Apple TV Plus show Physical, she is showing an empowering side to a sometimes typecasted role. Today she talks about the upcoming second season and her new project with Ray Romano.
Thank you so much for doing this today. I appreciate it.
Sure, no problem.
So when I saw the trailer for Physical, I so wanted to watch this. I'm a fan of anything 80s. If it's 80s, I'll watch it.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah, but I have to say, this show was awesome. I enjoyed every minute of it. I binge watched it within 2 days, even when I try to be like, no, I'm gonna take a break and try to, but I could not stop watching it. And I loved your character, the camaraderie of the whole cat, like everything worked so well.
Thank you.
Yes. What was it about this project that drew you to play Greta?
A couple years ago, I had said to my reps, I didn't want to play any more things that were for plus sized women.
Mhm.
I'm not under any illusion of what I look like, but I have often found in the film and TV industry and in theater, I guess to some degree, when you have that descriptor, it means something about you. You must have low self-esteem, or you're the butt of a joke, or
Mhm.
something like that. And aside from the fact that my self-esteem didn't need that kick, um, I don't find that I have low self-esteem. So I was like not booking those roles because I sort of came across too confident. So I was like, don't submit me for that stuff anymore. Um, anyway, so this project comes along, and I don't think that descriptor was in the breakdown for the character, but I read the scene, and one of my audition scenes was very much about me talking about how I ate all this food and da, 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 and I didn't know what I thought about it, but my manager said, he goes, it's a really good project. There's some really good people on it. Let's give it a look. And then when we get to like the next phase, we can sort of talk to them more about where the character is going. So I said, okay, if there's a point, if it's for a better purpose. And then when we did get to that phase and I got a bigger picture of what was going on in the story, I thought how empowering all of a sudden it felt to look the way I did. And that was so wonderful that then it made me very excited to move ahead with the project, because I don't feel that women of substance get always the same kind of um, representation and the chance to be like, I do look like this and I'm fine with it. I feel great about it.
I think that's
You
what I
know?
enjoyed most about the character. I mean, honestly, from that character, I didn't see as, and I get what you mean when it comes to plus size women have a
Yeah.
particular moniker. It's like, okay, they have to be like this. And
Right.
I did not see that with Greta, but you saw signs of growth. And I mean, honestly, for me, I just like the idea of your character goes through what a lot of women go through on a daily basis, whether it's weight, whether it's marriage issues, whether it's just your own personal grievances about yourself.
Right.
Wraps that all into one character.
And I think you'll be excited to see where she goes in season 2, but what I liked about her was, I think like any woman, her appearance is some struggle, especially in the 80s, right? Like
Exactly.
we forget sometimes. I think that I mean, like, there's national conversations happening now that we haven't gotten as far away from some of those conversations as we think we have. And I I love where she gets to go in season 2, because even the things that she struggles with in season 1, about being a mom, about being a housewife, about wondering whether she can do more or whether
Mhm.
she's worth more. And I think that's something that I've heard from a lot of women that they like and relate to, about sort of how that character is. So I'm really proud to play her.
Well, I'm excited to see season 2 is going to be premiering here on June 3rd.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
there anything that you can share? Because I know gags have to happen, but is there anything you can share about the new season?
We have some really special guest stars this season. I know one of them who's been announced, Murray Bartlett, who I got to shoot with. the wonderful actor Murray Bartlett, who very recently was also doing White Lotus. And I will tell you, when we got him, I had seen White Lotus, and I was like, before we got him, I went, wow, this guy is so good. This guy's a really good actor. And then he joined our cast, and I met him, and I don't often get very like, but I was like, oh my God, oh my gosh, hi. Nice to meet you. And he is the nicest man, and what an actor. So I think you guys are going to enjoy what he does this season. He's a lot of fun.
Well, I have to say, I was really excited just to see you on a series again. I loved you on New Amsterdam.
Oh, thank you.
When I found out you were leaving the show, I was like, well, that. So, and then of course you came back for, which was a very sad episode that we actually lost a cast member on the show.
Yeah.
And so, but it was like, considering the circumstances, it was great to see you on there again. So, I mean, and I just like with that cast in this one, the connection that I feel on screen with you and everybody else just feels authentic. What is the camaraderie like on set with the rest of the cast?
For on what show?
For physical.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to step back into the New Amsterdam part, but
it's so nice for me to be able to go, what project do you want to talk about? Because I also did a movie this year that's coming out in a couple of weeks that like also was a great. I've had a lot of fortune in the projects I've gotten to do in my life, but especially in the last 5 to 7 years, that the casts have really had sort of a familial kind of feel. Everyone feels like, you know, a family in a certain way. And I love that about Physical, is that one of my favorite things about Physical is that everyone has a great funny bone. Like everyone's really funny.
Yeah.
And the writing is so good. Annie Weissman and our wonderful writers room is so smart and so good. They give us such great scripts, but they also will allow us on takes to kind of have a little wiggle room and ad lib at each other and stuff a little bit. And Rory Scovel just always makes me laugh. And I just kind of love his humor and the way he goes, like he'll throw something at me that I never expect. And so then I'm trying not to laugh or to throw something back at him, because, you know, Greta and Danny don't exactly have the most friendly relationship. So it's been really, really fun to have those relationships. And Rose too, gosh, she's so funny, and we really have a great time together. So it makes even the days when you're doing really hard scenes or really sad scenes go more, not smoothly, but like it's just hard work on your body and on your on your psyche to like be so intense. So the good vibes just help you kind of ease in and out of that day. I don't know if that made any sense, but
that does make sense. That does make sense. So do you feel with this show, you know, I always seem to hear stories about actors that are on a set and writers, producers, directors they have their vision and they want that vision, and they're just not keen on moving away from hearing any other ideas. Do you feel like with your character, you can add input when you see something in a script and go, you know what, I'm not feeling she would do that. This is what I'm thinking, that they're open to hearing your suggestions?
Oh, this team is so open and so incredible. We're very lucky. Steph Lang, who directed almost all of our episodes in both seasons, and Annie Weissman are so open. But I often don't feel that has to happen from my character, because when I see something, I go, yeah, that's exactly right. And when there have been 1 or 2 times where I'll be like, wait a minute. But then when I get the next episode, or not even wait a minute, but like, I don't know where this is going. But then when you get sort of the scope of the whole season, sometimes there are seeds you're planting in episodes like 1 or 2 that are paying off in like 8. So it might seem very strange early on that you go, but then when you see where it comes out the other side of the tunnel, you're like, oh, wow, that was cool, you know? So
yeah. So I have to ask, being that I'm a shaven haired person myself, did you actually shave your head for
this?
That's
so funny. That is what everyone asks me, that people are Googling that about me, like all of these things. So no, I didn't. The short answer is no, I didn't, because in season 1, we had to shoot the whole series as like a big lump. So normally, like the way we would have shot New Amsterdam is you're kind of doing the episode in the week. And sometimes you're doing scenes a little out of order, but you're doing an episode a week or an episode every 2 weeks. For physical, because of COVID and because of locations, on the same day, we were shooting from episode 2, episode 8, and episode 1. All over. Right. So if I had shaved my head, then when we had to go shoot early stuff, it wouldn't have worked. So actually, and I had more hair last season. It was like a little bit longer and stuff. My wonderful, the head of the hair department, Kent, had to like glue. I'd have to go in like 2 hours early and he would glue all my hair down to my head. I mean, like,
oh my God.
With, yeah. And we would have to like glue it down, and then he got it so flat, but I couldn't believe, and then he built that wig. It was a wig that he built. And then we would put a, like a cap on and put the wig on. And sometimes he'd have to dapple a little bit just to make sure that, you weren't seeing the netting coming through, but yeah. And then we would glue the edges and stuff down. So it was crazy. And then there would be times last season where also then I'd had a wig on a wig. So then I'd have to have another wig that could come off while the other wig was staying on. And it was a wig on a wig on a wig.
I have to say that storyline was interesting to me only because of the fact that when I shaved my head, which was an absolute choice, I had 3 kids at this point, and I was done. I was done with styling and relaxing my hair. And so when I saw this happen in the show, and it was seen as like this attractive, fierce like moment, I was like, okay, I'm glad with that. I'm good with that. So I was actually
good. I'm glad you felt that way.
Yeah, I did. It was nothing that I saw as, because I'm sure people were like, is this supposed to be a fetish? For me, I saw this as this empowering moment of, yes, hair means a lot to some women, but for other women, it could be an empowering moment to just shave it off. And that's how I saw it.
It's something that I remember when I read the script, I was actually surprised. I went, I would do it. I just thought to myself, I would do it. I'm kind of glad they didn't make me do it, because I am very attached to my hair. And luckily also I was going right into another project. So it would have been hard to go, hey, so I have no hair now. So because of my job also, where your hair is at is like,
see, you have very good reason. I at this point, I'm like, my whole thing is I get to do interviews. So I'm like,
and you know what? No muss, no fuss, right?
Exactly.
Like, it's done. But I was surprised I was willing to do it, but it is such a beauty thing. So in that storyline, the idea of letting it go was like for the couple too, right? So empowering, like, no, like this is, you're just really, it's like being naked. It's just like standing there being like, this is who I am. And I was also told I was very lucky because I got to see what the shape of my head would look like before I shaved it. Because some people shave their heads apparently, and then they go, "Oh God!"
That's how frustrated I was that I didn't even think about that until after the fact. And I was like, "Oh, thank God!"
Oh, yours is fabulous. It looks so good. Yeah,
thank you.
And you have such a beautiful face, So really, it's beautiful.
It does. It just opens everything. I still have women that will stop me in the store and just tap me on the shoulder and be like, I just want to say, I applaud you for doing that. I'm like, thanks. I mean, you can do it too if you want. I'm not trying to be encouraging.
Yes. Yeah.
So I know that you just recently started an upcoming project with Ray Romano.
Yes.
And I was somewhere in Queens. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about that project.
Yeah, so it's going to be at the Tribeca Film Festival this year, which is really exciting. It's going to be really cool to do a New York movie with Ray Romano. I'm really excited about that. And it's a story about a man and his son. It's a real love letter to Queens, because I think that means a lot to Ray. Ray wrote the movie with his writing partner, Mark Stegman, and directed the movie and starred in the movie.
Wow.
So, yeah. And he was amazing at all of them. So it was like really impressive to watch. And it's his first time directing, I know that, a feature film. So it was like just really amazing to watch him do that. But yeah, I get to play his sister. It was really fun. Sebastian Maniscalco plays our middle brother, so it's Ray and then Sebastian and me.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's really fun. It was great. Laurie Metcalf plays his wife.
Wow.
It's a great cast, and I think it's a really good movie. I'm really excited for people to see it.
So you've talked about, that you love talking about projects, and, you've been on everything from The Sopranos to, I love the movie Second Act, your character on that. Oh, I loved her. So what would you say just now out of the projects you've done so far has been one that you walked away from saying, oh goodness, I'm so glad I've done that? I know it could be for all of them, but is there one that stands out more than the others?
My first answer was going to be there's something I've really been proud about in everything I've done, which I'm so lucky to be able to say that, aren't I? But I think right now, yeah, I think the two projects I'm talking about right now, both Physical and Somewhere in Queens, like I'm really proud to work with those people. I'm really proud about both stories that are getting to come out, and it's also really influencing some of the stuff I'm developing and working on now. Of like these that I'm able to be really conscious about the stories I want to tell, and say what's important to talk about, or what are things that I feel like what's important, what's something that somebody who looks like and behaves like me can talk about. So I really am proud of these two projects. Big time.
Do you think you'll see yourself behind the camera instead of in front?
I don't know. I'm such a theater girl. I grew up doing tons of theater, and I could see myself directing theater. I thought about it for a little while, and I've done some small things. Behind the camera, it's such a different thing, like knowing all the kinds of lenses and the setups of the shots and all of the pre-pro. I still feel every time I do a project like I'm learning about it. So I don't know. I never say no. I write. I'm a writer, so I get that. That makes sense to me, and is stuff I can kind of engage in. I think, I don't know, maybe someday.
Is there anything that you have thought to yourself, I'm going to write about this and see where it goes from there? Or is it mostly just journal writing? What kind of writing?
Oh, no. I do. I actually have, that's so funny you say that. I have started journaling again lately. I have a couple projects I'm working on with some friends. I have nothing I think I'm allowed to talk about specifics about, because everything's so still in development. But I have one thing that I am pretty excited about that I think might have some pretty good legs on it. And it's also all very different genres. So it's like, I'm exploring, like a horror film, which I never thought I would do, but like, it's really interesting to me. So like, yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what comes out.
Very exciting. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me today, Dierdre. I appreciate it. And I am looking forward. I watched it so quickly, I'm going to have to watch it again. So I'm looking forward for Physical season 2 to be out, and it's right around the corner. So I'm excited.
Thank you so much. It was so nice to visit with you today.
It was nice to visit with you too. And we'll talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.